Good afternoon. For the safety of all here at Unity, the board is requiring that everyone attending our service indoor wear masks. We have a supply of masks in the back of the sanctuary for those who need one. Our guest musician this morning is Laura Berman. She has toured nationwide performing at Unity churches, centers for spiritual living, and in Jewish communities. We are blessed to have her here to share her soul-filled voice and songs. Welcome.
Good morning. This is one you know, I know you know. We're here to remind you of your magnificence, to help you awake to all the wonder that you are. We long to show you all the joy you're worthy of. We're here to remind you how much you truly love. If you feel comfortable singing this chant, I am open, I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open, I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open, I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. Let's sing that one together. I am open to receive the love in you and me. Here we go. I am open, I can hear you. I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open, yeah. I am open, I am open to receive the love in you and me. We can know it for each other. You are open to receive. You are open. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the love in you and me. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the love in you and me. Yeah. We are open, a hearty finish. We are open, we are open. We are open to receive the love in you and me. We are open, we are open. We are open to receive the love in you and me. 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 We are open to the love in you and me. Thank you. Good morning.
Immediately after service, there will be a snack and chat in the courtyard or downstairs. Gather and share. Light refreshments are provided. The United Nations International Day of Peace is Tuesday, September 21st. Join us on the labyrinth for the short ceremony at 9 a.m. All are invited to walk the labyrinth at any time on this special day with the intention of world peace. Our prayer chaplains are introducing a healing, prayer, meditation service on the first and third Tuesdays of every month at 6 p.m. They will welcome you to the sanctuary on September 21st for a deeply sacred experience. The next gong bath with Greg Wilkins will be on Tuesday, September 28th from 7 to 8 p.m. The blessing of the animals will be held in the courtyard on October 2nd from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and there'll be a pet parade at 11. Reverend Susan Gum, former Unity on the Avenue minister, is offering the Teachings of Jesus class for 5-week via Zoom on Wednesday from 11 to 1 p.m. It runs October 6th through November 3rd. Please see our newsletter for more details and to register. The cost is between $60 and $125. Now, Reverend Dr. David Goldberg will speak to us about Spirit Expressing 2021.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, all, and welcome. Whether joining us in person or on our labyrinth or online, we're very excited to be launching our annual Spirit Expressing program. This year, we're focusing on the book Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, also known as Abraham. So that's what we're launching today. And you still have time to sign up for one of our small groups that's going to be meeting during the week. I would like to introduce two of our facilitators who are in the room for our Wednesday night class that's meeting from 6:30 to 8:30. I'd like to introduce Melissa Baldridge and Deb Sammons. So, two newer members to our community. We so appreciate you stepping in. You are bright, you are bold, you are highly conscious, you are extraordinary. And those participating in our class on Wednesday night will have the opportunity to get to know you and connect with you. If Thursday morning works better for you, we have a class also meeting online from 10 a.m. to noon on Thursday morning. And our two facilitators for that class are our very own board president, Eustaine Talley, and somebody who I know and love and admire, Rick Finbow. So it's going to be a wonderful group of classes, a wonderful deep dive into the broadest definition of prosperity in abundance. If you're in the sanctuary, please do sign up. We'll make sure that we get you the link. We'll make sure that we get you a PDF of the workbook, and you're all set. Thank you. We're so excited.
We are anchored in prayer here at Unity on the Avenue. Our prayer chaplain today is Lawrence Coleman. He will lead us with our statement of faith and our prayer reading.
Good afternoon, Unity on the Avenue, and thank you for being with us on this beautiful Colorado day. Please join me in the statement of faith. There is one present power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. Today's opening prayer is from the Unity publication, Healing Thoughts, entitled Harmony. And from Colossians 3:14, above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. God, sometimes when I feel sad or disappointed, I imagine myself being held in the warm embrace of your unconditional love. I feel safe and peaceful. In these moments of solitude with you, I feel a soul connection with my loved ones and friends. This awareness lingers with me to become a part of my interaction with others. I know what to do to encourage harmony. I know when to speak. I know when to listen, doing both with love and understanding. God, I know you are with me to bring harmony to every situation. My heart's desire is to express love and harmony every day of my life. And we affirm, through the love of God, I share a soul connection with others. And so it is.
So it is.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Take away my doubts, they only weigh me down. Hide all my don'ts and won'ts so they can't be found. Bottle up my fear and throw it into the sea. And if by chance one day it floats back to me, I'll just laugh out loud and say here and now. And I do to a love that knows no reservation. And I do to a will that knows no hesitation. And I do to a choice with no expectation. No, no, I used to say don't, but now I do, I do, I do now. Ooh, yes, I do. I take away this life I thought was safe and sound. Loosen up these ties that only kept me bound. Shred all my limitations and all my beliefs. Let the confetti fall into the streets. This is my parade, yeah, my time to proclaim. I do to love that knows no reservation. And I do to will that knows no hesitation. I do to a choice with no expectation. No, no, I used to say don't, don't, but now I do, yes, I do. I used to say don't, but now I do, I do, yes, I do, and I do to a love that knows no reservation, and I do to a will that knows no hesitation, and I do to a choice with no expectation, and I do to a dream that knows no limitation, and I do to a force that knows no gravitation, and I do to a high with no intoxication. No, no, no. I used to say don't, but now I do. I do. I used to say don't, but now I do. I do, yes, and now I do. I do. I used to say don't, but right now, I do. Well, I do.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Laura. We're excited to step into our new Spiritual Expressing program and begin exploring the book, Ask and It Is Given, which is about abundance and prosperity in all forms. Now you'll hear from Unity on the Avenue members and friends about how they co-created with the divine the lives of their dreams.
As your board president, I would invite you to participate fully in what Unity on the Avenue represents. To me, I understand Unity on the Avenue as a personal community and as a spiritual community. They cross over so much that I can't tell where the personal ends and the spiritual begins. There's love here for everyone. People come here, they feel the love the minute they walk in the front door. I'm told all the time, well, I've just felt the love. This is a very loving community. There's plenty of love here. I hear these comments, and I believe that they are true. They are totally true. I know I experienced love. I experienced love when I had to leave this community for 2 years for a family emergency. And I thought I would be able to find a Unity church that met my needs where I had moved to. That was not true. I found that I was still connected to Unity on the Avenue, and I still felt a part of this community, even 1,500 miles away. I still felt the connection, a very strong, physical, lovely connection with this community, and it supported me through that very rough time. And when I came back after that 2-year absence, it was as if I never left. Well, for me, tithing means that I am entering into a natural law that is important to us as the law of gravity. I believe that our tithing is represented by a law that Charles Fillmore discovered and named the law of circulation. And that sort of could be summed up as you give, so shall you receive. So I really have had an opportunity in my life on becoming acquainted with prosperity principles and unity, that really works. I've had the opportunity to put it into practice, first in my personal finances, and then in other areas of my life, my relationships and volunteering and other things. I love Unity on the Avenue because it offers me what I need spiritually. It offers me what I need in relationship. It offers me what I need in an opportunity to be involved with the rest of the community and outside community. I find that I have brothers and sisters to share my learning with. I'm still learning. I'm still a student. And every day that I'm a student at Unity on the Avenue, I have someone to talk about the ideas that I'm receiving and experiencing.
Let's sing this one. I think this is coming, this will set up the talk nicely, and we can sing towards the end together. Living large in a tiny square, broken pieces seem to lead nowhere. Why do I feel that my life is just pretend? All my dreams staying way too small. They lead me back to where I started from. How can I move when I fear what lies ahead? Well, there's more than what I see. Each step brings me closer to free. Yes, I realize it's inside of me. I realize there are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. No walls. You and me, God, and this holy word. And I realize now. And with each new day I see my life getting bigger with less denying. It's my choice now to leave or just give in, give in. Oh, and every morning I give thanks, amen, to all the growth I've experienced. And I have become a dream that's worth believing I am. There's more than what I see, there's more. Each step brings me closer to me. Oh, I realize it's inside of me. Yeah, I realize there are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. There are no walls between you and me, God, and your holy word. Oh, well, it's a long road, but one I choose to travel through this lifetime. And I am learning what not to do. Believe me, please, believe me. There's more than what you see. Oh, I realize it's inside of me. I realize there are no walls in between. No, I realize it's inside of me. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. There are no walls between you and me. No walls in between you and me and this holy word. I know no walls. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. Sing if you feel it. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. I know no walls in between you and me and your holy word. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. There are no walls in between you and me and this holy word. There are no walls between you and me and you and God and me and God and me and this beautiful earth. I know no walls between you and me, you and me, you and me. There are no walls. We realize now.
Perfect, and thank you for being so brilliant improvisationally as well. So my friends, as we jump into Ask and It Is Given, I was reflecting on how we wanted to kick this off and how we wanted to share, since we've been talking about it for several weeks now. And as I was reflecting, a story came to me, a memory came to me from February 2007. I had the great joy of participating in a service trip to Kenya. And then after that, we continued on, a colleague, a friend and I continued on into Egypt. And it truly was a brilliant and wonderful trip. And one of the first things that we saw on our adventure in Kenya is we went on safari. We had the opportunity to go on actually 3 different safaris at different times of the early morning and midday and evening to see the savannah come to life and all of the different animals come out at those different times. So our first safari early in the morning, we came upon this pack of elephants. And it was more magical than the pictures that you can see and the pictures that you might imagine. And the thing that stuck with me is this herd of elephants, probably 12 or 15 mature elephants, and one little one. And I'm guessing probably a year or 2 old. And our safari and a number of other safaris were kind of parked in jeeps in a semicircle around this herd of elephants. And this little one was just looking at all of us. And he wasn't quite sure what to make of us. And all of a sudden we start seeing, and he pulls up his head and he blows something out of his snout, whether it was grass or hay or something. And he's absolutely ready to take us all on. And there are, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 humans and 15 jeeps, and he doesn't care. This is his territory. He's protecting his pack. We don't belong here. They're the ones that belong here, right? And then we see this again. And then we see the loving presence of who I assume to be his mother come up, put her trunk around him, and gently pull him back. We're learning to coexist. We're learning to live in peace. And what that reminded me of are the stories perhaps that we've seen on social media or on computers of elephants who have ropes or chains around their necks, and they're tied to a stake in the ground. And some of them are rather short, right? And here are these massive brilliant, wonderful creatures tied to a stake in the ground. And all it would take is one, probably from that little guy, but certainly from a full-grown adult elephant, one rearing of the head, and they would be free. But for whatever reason, since they were young, since they were little, since they were small, they had a rope around their neck and they were tied to the stake. So their frame of reference was, when I have a rope around me, I can't move. I'm not free to walk. I'm not free to explore. When all it would take is simply raising their head and they could do whatever they choose. The one that really speaks to me as well, similar experience with a donkey or a mule that has a rope around their neck, and it is tied to a plastic lawn chair that you and I, just move around, and they always blow away in the wind. And this donkey has the frame of reference that as long as it is tied, as long as it is tethered, it's not free to move about as it chooses. Well, so what we are doing, my friends, is undoing the knots, we're undoing the ropes, we're letting go of the small ropes that hold us back, and we are completely releasing any bondage, any thoughts, any ideas that are not serving us in our highest and best. So that is the invitation with this series as we move through this. So, with Ask and It Is Given, the invitation from Esther and Jerry Hicks through Esther working with Abraham and sharing the messages of Abraham, for me is really threefold. This doesn't mean you don't have to listen or come the next 6 weeks, but my takeaway is the first and foremost is releasing the short ropes of our existence. So that's something we're going to continue to explore over this time frame. The second piece that Esther and Jerry and Abraham invite us into is what it means from a metaphysical perspective to pursue that, right? We talk about that frequently. As metaphysicians, we believe in beyond the physical. So we trust our senses, we trust our 5 senses, we know about those. And what we engage in is beyond the physical, beyond what we can see, what we can feel, what we can hear, what we can smell, what we can taste, or we can touch. And then the third piece that I get from Abraham, from the book, is this beautiful invitation, both physically, actually, and metaphorically, that today is a new day. And we know that as well. Today is a new day. I can change my thinking about something or someone or some circumstance or some situation, and I can have a different outcome. So that is what we're going to explore as we start to talk about this work. So the thing about releasing those mental ropes, if you will, I also thought back to when I was a kid in school. I was active and I was involved in a lot of stuff, and I did sports and I did student government and I did plays and, oh look, a squirrel, and I did a little bit of everything, and was fair to say I was pretty much a jack of all trades and not a master of very many. And I have to tell you, I loved school. I loved my friends, I loved my teachers, I loved everything that I was involved in. Yeah, academics were in there somewhere. The one thing that I really didn't love was PE class. First of all, having to change clothes. I just got dressed, I just got to school. That should have been an inkling of my life as an adult when I got there. But at any rate, just got dressed and I had to change clothes. And one of the things that really brought me great stress was the president's physical fitness test. And we had whatever all of the other elements of that were. The thing that struck me was pull-ups. I didn't have the upper body strength to get that done. And if I'm remembering correctly, the guys had to do pull-ups and the girls had to do a hang, and you had to hang there. Well, I didn't feel really good about myself because I couldn't do either one. And I should have known I would have had an interest in politics, because part of what came to my mind is, this is the president's physical fitness test. I've never seen the president do 20 pull-ups. That was just what was running through my tiny mind. And the thing that even brought me more stress was the rope climb, right? So my limiting rope was literally the rope climb. Oh my gosh. I did everything that I thought to do. I volunteered to hold it so everybody could climb it, hoping that we would run out of time. I was sick. I had a meeting. I told my mom exactly when to schedule dentist appointments. And I couldn't ever make it all the way up the rope. So what if I gave up trying to climb the rope, you see? So that's the beauty of metaphors, and that's the beauty of as we explore what we're looking into and what we tend to be releasing. So what is tying you down? What is your stake in the ground? What is it that all you have to do is look at it slightly differently, that you might be able to stand up straight and have a completely different experience? Something just to be with and something to think about. The other piece that I so appreciate about just the work of Abraham in general, I've been a student for a very long time. Back in the olden days, we used to share CDs and pass them around, and have you heard this talk, and what about that talk, and all of the different experiences that Esther was sharing as she worked with Abraham. And one of the things that just made me smile this week is I was doing some additional research. Something on their website, it's a great website, by the way, abraham-hicks.com. Something on their website, Esther sits by herself in a chair as she is working with Abraham, and she is awake and alive and alert, and she's very present with what is coming through and as people interact with her. And during one of her appearances, during one of her events, somebody came up to the microphone and asked their question, and then added, "Oh, and by the way, you're also very attractive." And Esther said, as Abraham, as channeling 9 different entities, she said, "Well, thank you. That's a high compliment, given that we're usually perceived as a cloud of mist." So it's important to keep our humor as we walk through that process as well, and as we explore the non-physical. And that was one of the things that I really appreciated as we started looking at our book study and bringing this to our Unity community. It seems to fit so well with who we are and what we are. We've shared before that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore express our teaching as practical Christianity. And in the book, perhaps those of you who've had a chance to dive in, read in the introduction where Wayne Dyer says that he looks at it as spiritual, he looks at this work as spiritual practicality. I love that. That just feels like a great mesh of work, right? Slightly different perspectives, as I've said before, slightly different perspectives, slightly different flavors of the same ice cream. And the other thing that I appreciate about the metaphysical that we spoke about last week, beyond the physical, the thing that moved Charles and Myrtle Fillmore into this work was Myrtle was living with the circumstance of tuberculosis. And it was through prayer, she believes, that she cured herself. She went beyond the physical condition. She took it to prayer. She had a direct connection with her interpretation of the divine. She worked it. She worked the principles. She worked the steps. She worked her prayer. And she had a beyond physical healing. And when Charles saw that, he had the same experience. He had one leg that was shorter than the other from an athletic injury when he was a young boy. And it troubled him to varying degrees throughout his life. So when he saw Myrtle heal from tuberculosis, he started doing his own work around his physical healing, and he realized that healing. So that is what we know, being metaphysical, beyond the physical. And that's exactly what Esther Hicks and Abraham are inviting us into. The other thing that strikes me is that Esther identified as a Catholic. She was raised in the Catholic Church and grew up in the church and so on and so forth. And as she started seeking more, as she started looking beyond the walls, as she started looking beyond the barriers or beyond preconceptions as to what was feeding her soul and what she needed, she had some discomfort. She was really scratchy, to say the least, right? Because here is a beautiful being who is a part of a extraordinarily beautiful tradition in the Catholic Church, and she's doing these other things that might be considered heresy, and that she may end up in hell. And, all of the bad stuff, all of the shadow stuff, she was starting to poke and to prod at and to learn. And yet, somewhere at the core of her being, she knew that that's what she needed to do. So she also looked beyond the physical to accept the gifts that were hers. I love what is written in. First of all, I love that these chapters are about 2.5 pages long. The ADD in me thinks that's awesome. I also appreciate Jerry Hicks. He made his transition several years ago. But as part of the book, he writes, "This book offers you a hands-on course in spiritual practicality." So there we have it again, right? That is one of the things that we appreciate is we talk about it, we think about it, we call in what is ours, and we take it into action. And that's what we know in working with adult learners and working with adult students is the faster that we can take it from concept to implementation, the longer it will stay with us. So if you've ever had one of those moments, as I have had, where I have said, I can't, I won't, I shouldn't, I'm not, any of those things, and fill in whatever your rope is, whatever your limitation is. Again, you know that I love words, and I was thinking about all of those apostrophes, right? I can't, I won't, I shouldn't, I'm not. And the thing that struck me is, what if those apostrophes are my limiting ropes? What if those apostrophes are my limiting ideas? So when I hear my human self saying, I can't do that because, or I'm too this, or I'm not enough that, what if I let go of that apostrophe? What if I let go of that rope? What if I let go of that limiting idea? Just a thought for you there. So I love how we are tied together then in the metaphysical. And as Laura sang so beautifully, as we have been singing for weeks, we are here to remind you of your magnificence. And for those who have read the book or started reading the book with us, that's one of the many things I love about Abraham, is they are very clear that you are good, you are extraordinary, you are magical, you are marvelous, you are wonderful. And part of me says, thank you, and I haven't had my coffee yet, and so you see, I start to refuse that which someone else or some other entity is sharing with me when they see my light. So where are you not reflecting back the goodness, the joy, the glory that is yours? When somebody says, I just love this community. Donnie Lynn walked in today as one of our blessed new members. Thank you. We are so grateful you're with us. And Nadal said, I love your green top. Well, that is perhaps minor, perhaps minuscule in the grand scheme of things. And you see, that's who we are. We see each other, we recognize each other, we appreciate the beauty and the good wherever it lies, perhaps in the physical, perhaps beyond the physical. So the other piece that speaks to me then about the work of Abraham is that this is a new day, right? And so we have a beloved friend of ours who is planning a major surgery for later this year. And as part of this surgery, they are going to grow perhaps another inch or 2 inches, right? So they're not doing this surgery because of this, and that is going to be one of the outcomes of this surgery that honestly they're looking forward to. So that is beyond the physical. There was nothing that said Myrtle should have been cured from tuberculosis. There was nothing that said Charles could affect his physical body by prayer. And there is nothing that tells our dear friend that they're going to grow 2 inches after this surgery, and yet we believe. We believe in what we can't see. We believe in the metaphysical. So it is a new day. So part of what we know to be true is we can't change the past. We can't change what we have done. We can't change what we haven't done. We can change our interpretation of it. So I'm reminded of the story way back, where 2 brothers were in this rural community. And honestly, they were not good guys. They were thieves. They were known as sheep stealers, right? Or, that they would steal sheep, or they would take sheep, or those kinds of things. And everybody knew that to be true. And finally, they were caught in the act of stealing sheep. And in those days, part of the punishment was to physically brand people. So these 2 brothers had brands on their forehead that said ST, sheep thief. So one of the brothers couldn't deal with it. He tried to be repentant, and that didn't help, and I'm bad, and I'm wrong, and nobody likes me, and how am I going to make a living? And he died at a very young age. The other brother took a different approach. He said, yes, I did this, and I own that, and I'm sorry for that, and I was in a bad place, and I was in a different place, and now I want to work. I want to make restitution. I want to do something different. I want to contribute in a different way to my community. And so he did, and that was exactly how his life unfolded. Years later, somebody was coming through town and met this fellow and said, "What does the ST on your forehead stand for?" And he said, "Oh, that was a long time ago, and honestly, I don't remember it, but I think it stands for saint." So what is the message for us there, my friends? The message is we get to own what we did, and we can change our perspective about it. When I change my story about myself, everybody else's story about me changes. So if we're having that experience where there's some resistance in any part of your life, and you would like to be perceived differently, I will share a bit of my own experience stepping into ministry later in life. Being perceived as reverend, being perceived as doctor, that's just, Dave who used to do stinky stuff in high school. So when I change my thought about myself, that allows everyone else in my life to change those thoughts as well. So I share that with whatever you might be up to. And so again, with today being a new day, that's exactly what we know to be true. And it sounds so simple, and yet it can be so challenging to change our thinking and change our lives. So what I know to be true is that we are, and we always have been, perfect expressions of the divine. One of the many things I love about our beloved special guest is that she is the goddess of the Sabbath, right? The queen of the Sabbath. I love that about her. That's how she is bringing her perspective, her unique take on the extraordinary and glorious practice that is Judaism and her understanding of New Thought. So she was actually in town offering her gifts at Congregation Beth Evergreen for the recently completed High Holy Days, when we were able to connect and say, please come share your gifts with us. So today is a new day, beloveds. We, in addition to blessing our Jewish brothers and sisters as they complete the High Holy Days on their calendar and on their lives, we also bless those who share this space with us. We bless our friends at East Denver Vineyard. We're wishing them a tremendous 20th anniversary celebration today with their larger congregation. And we know that all is well because it is a new day, you see. We're not threatened by other belief systems. It's a bit like perhaps fighting over a piece of pie. I don't know if that ever happened in your house, but being the youngest of 3 boys, fighting over a piece of pie. We were interested in who would get the bigger piece of pie. And now my philosophy is it's not about who gets a bigger piece of the pie or who gets more people as a part of their service in their house of worship. It's about increasing the size of the pie. It's about taking it to everyone. So whether people engage in Judaism or Islam or atheism, whatever people are called to, whatever supports them, is not threatening to us, because it's a new day. What we know, what we see, what we observe is the one power, the one presence that is in, around, and through it all is so much bigger than any one religion, is so much bigger than any man-made, human-made construct. You know, I love Bishop John Shelby Spong. I have learned so much from that extraordinary being. He just made his transition within the past couple of weeks. And one of the statements that has been quoted on social media a lot is his statement about God is not a Christian. God is not a Buddhist. God is not a Muslim. God is not Hindu. He said, I honor my faith tradition, and my faith tradition does not define God. My faith tradition allows me a path to God to help me understand. So that's what we're talking about, my friends, when we say it's a new day. So, as we explore the work of Abraham, another story that just spoke to my soul is of the 5-year-old. Mom and Dad just had a new baby. He wasn't the only one at home anymore. So his little sister is lying in her crib, and Mom and Dad are watching this as he strolls up to the side of the crib, and he peeks his little head over at his brand new sister, and he says, help me remember God. I'm starting to forget. So this, my friends, is our opportunity to remember God, Spirit, Buddha, Jesus, Mother Earth, whatever your definition, whatever you can get your human mind around. I invite you into this opportunity with us and to ask, and it is given. And if you take nothing else away today, please let it be that. Ask, and it is given. Please join me in prayer. Feeling the power, feeling the presence, feeling the energy of releasing those limiting thoughts, those limiting ideas, those limiting beliefs, releasing my short rope of comprehension, trusting in the divine. That is what I know to be true as a person of faith. That is what I know to be true for each and every beloved within the sound of my voice. I know that they are extraordinary. I know that they are blessed. I know that they are powerful beyond measure. You see, we don't have to worry about being weak. Perhaps our concern should be tapping into that energy, tapping into that resource, and being our full, extraordinary, glorious selves as Spirit intended. So as we move into this work, as we move into expanded work around prosperity and abundance and all of its perfect and wonderful and glorious forms, I know that we are also able to step back and evaluate and ask what else might be true? What is no longer serving me? What can I release to create room for more good, more positivity, more flow, more grace, more beauty, more brilliance, more nuance, more experience, and more love? Because you see, that is our natural state. Each one of those God qualities is who we are as expressions of the divine. And the divine knows nothing of sickness, nothing of illness, nothing of lack, nothing of I don't, I won't, I can't, I shouldn't. No. That is not the truth of who we are. So I know for each of us that we allow our human selves, we allow ourselves to get out of our bloated nothingness and allow the divine to download to us, to continue to be in us and express as us. Yes, yes, what I know to be true is what Scripture tells us, that in the beginning, God created the heavens, plural, and the earth. What if this is one of the heavens? What if we are living in heaven now? What if our work is continuing to integrate the physical and the non-physical, the physical and the metaphysical into what we know to be true? That is our work. That is our thought process. Our hearts are open wide, and we are absolutely in connection with each other and with the divine. Ours is work of love, ours is work of grace, ours is work of brilliance, and ours is work of power and poise and possibility. So I release, I let go, I allow it to be. I know it is true for each sentient being on the planet. And we anchor this together by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are. Right now, my friends, is our opportunity to give where we are spiritually fed. So as we pass the basket, we bless you and we invite you to hold your gift, your tithe, your offering over your heart as we affirm our statement together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
From the darkest place to a higher space, calling from every direction. On every single path I have stood strong and cowered fast. What a strange perception. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. The best I could was where I stood for higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood. that are so unsteady, dancing the same old dances. Oh yeah, I'm never really sure how to fit myself through the door. Well, it's all part of taking chances. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. The best I could was where I stood for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood. Well, I've seen the road at ground level, but there's a wider view at play, a much wider view. And it brings me home to revel on this fine, fine day, this fine day for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, oh, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, yeah, one I have never expected. Rising up, we are rising up from misunderstood. A higher good, a higher good.
Laura, thank you. What a blessing you are. And please, my friends, Laura has some CDs and some products available in the back of the sanctuary. Please stop and say hello. And if you're so moved, invest in 1 or 23 of her glorious CDs. We love supporting our New Thought artists. We've said it many times. When we sing, we pray twice. So thank you for sharing your gifts. And I would also just like to remind everybody that next week, Reverend Michelle Scavetta is going to be with us. We love Michelle. She is an extraordinary being, sharing her unique and wonderful and powerful journey. And then the following Saturday, oh my goodness, October, welcome pumpkins, here we go. The following Saturday, October 2nd, is our annual pet blessing from 10 a.m. to noon. Our beloved Penny Ware is once again heading up this effort for us. Thank you, sweet Penny. And this year we're adding a pet parade at 11. So, we welcome your horses, but maybe not on the labyrinth. But really, all creatures, big and small, we want to bless them, we want to honor them, and thank them for the joy they bring to our lives. And finally, please you can sign up for the Spirit Expressing, for the Ask and It Is Given online courses anytime. It's a 7-week run of classes, and attendance is not mandatory for 7 weeks. We know everybody has very busy lives. So if you are interested, you can sign up in the back of the sanctuary today, or please send us an email to unityontheavenue@gmail.com, and we'll make sure to get you connected with at least 2 of our 4 wonderful, amazing facilitators. So that is the truth, my friends. That is what we know on this day. If you would, please join me in welcoming the children and blessing the children of our community and the world. Let's rub our hands together to get that energy flowing as we hold it up and offer our blessing. You are loved, special, and important. We see you and bless the divine being that you are. Absolutely the truth. And now our prayer for protection as we go forth into this week. Big, bright, bold, powerful, empowered, impassioned, and love-filled. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go in power, go in peace.
Where once it was covered, well, now we have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected. Rising up, we are rising up from misunderstood. A higher good, stepping into our higher good. Yeah. Thank you. Have a great day.